to know the qualities of a reporter, to learn the techniques to become a professional reporter, to imbibe the skill set to perform well as a journalist, to understand the importance of FAB, that is fairness, attribution and balance in reporting. We have realized the importance of journalism in our societies as a source of information, analysis and comment on current events. Journalism performs a number of functions in modern societies. As UNESCO maintains, the basic goal of journalists, however, is to serve society by informing the public, scrutinizing the way power is exercised, stimulating democratic debate, and in those ways aiding political, economic, social and cultural development. Being the information collectors, reporters are one of the key players in the field of journalism, and they need to develop certain qualities to perform their duty. We are going to discuss the desired qualities of a reporter in this lesson. Though we use the word reporter to meet the lesson's requirement, the qualities we are going to discuss in this section would be applied to all journalists. According to the Pointers writer Matt Thompson, there are 4 types of journalists. They are storyteller, newshound, system analyst and provocator. Let us discuss these 4 types to get a fair understanding on what makes a reporter or a journalist. In fact, every journalist is a storyteller in its true sense. While a writer creates a story out of his or her imagination, a reporter presents a story or a real incident based on facts. The primary motivation of the storyteller kind of journalist is to connect people to each other and to issues that matter in their lives. This type of journalist renders dull material bright and attractive. They are capable of making a cabbage a hot cake to sell. It means they can create an interesting story out of a routine city council meeting. Majority of these journalists falls on this category. The primary motivation for this kind of journalists is to expose facts that are hidden or unknown. Thompson observes that the newshounds possess a relentless curiosity and drive that helps them constantly uncover new facts. Investigative journalists fall under this category. The primary motivation of them is to understand the world and explain it clearly. They connect the dots well to give us a clear picture. Systems analysts, according to Thompson, have a gift for sniffing out root causes, key trends and important patterns that underpin a story. The primary motivation of this kind of journalists is to reveal the many complex facets of the world. Provocators spur us to think in new ways about a topic or to identify emerging trends or patterns that are worth keeping an eye on. Columnists or experts would come in this bracket. In his book titled Out of Print, Newspaper Journalism and the Business News in the Digital Age, George Bracken, a veteran journalist and journalism educator, identifies 4 key elements for good journalism. They are verification, sense making, bearing witness and investigation. He predicts that these 4 core tasks would be the foundation on which journalism in the 21st century is going to be rebuilt. The news manual lists out 4 motives for people to take up journalism as a profession. They are the desire to write, the desire to be known, the desire to influence for good, and the desire for knowledge. UNESCO, while proposing curriculum for journalism education, mentioned the key foundations for journalism students. These foundations include an ability to think critically, incorporating skill in comprehension, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation of the unfamiliar material, and a basic understanding of evidence and research methods. An ability to write clearly and coherently using narrative, descriptive, and analytical methods. Likewise, a knowledge of national and international political, economic, cultural, religious, and social institutions is also needed. A knowledge of current affairs and issues and a general knowledge of history and geography is required. Similarly, a lot of literature is available on the special qualities and skills of journalists. Various versions given by various editors, academic institutions, and media practitioners boil down to 10 qualities of a reporter. They are commitment, judgment, communication, speed and accuracy, confidence, tech savvy, multitasking, thick skin, optimism, entrepreneurship. Let us see as to why these 10 qualities are important for reporters. The news manual mentions that an interest in life is a prerequisite for any journalist. It is true, but journalists should be committed to the professional basic objectives. The sole objective of journalism is to truthfully serve people. Genuine and sincere journalists strive hard for the common good all the time. One should understand and imbibe the rich tradition of journalism and its contribution to the progress of the mankind before taking a plunge into this pious profession. It is motivating to remember the leaders of the freedom struggle who chose the profession to create patriotic fervor among the common public during the British Raj. It is very tough to sustain in this field without being committed. Commitment to truth is paramount. The information we gather, draft and circulate would impact the public opinion. Hence, unbiased, truthful information should be shared with utmost care. Piles of information would glare at journalists every day and night. What is news and what is not is a constant dilemma for journalists. Critical thinking leads to sound judgment. As we discussed in our previous lessons, news nose is needed to find out the day's news to be used in the limited space. Besides, a strong belief that we are in the profession that impacts the lives of scores of people, the habit of reading and watching news would automatically develop a news nose. Most of the journalists claim that over a period of time they could develop the skill of composing the story effortlessly in their brain soon after attending a meeting or a program. To judge the usefulness of the information, you need to ask many questions. Probe it till you are satisfied with the available material is the thumb rule. As news manual points out, love of language is essential for journalists. True, you cannot be a great journalist without having a deep love of language, written or spoken. The news story, the basic building block of journalism, requires a simple, uncomplicated writing style. The manual says, again, reading and listening help you to develop the art of communication. You should be very good at interpersonal and intrapersonal communication. Then only you can create material for mass communication. Journalists should be friendly always. You need to develop this habit to cultivate a good number of sources for your stories. Reliability is highly valued in journalism, where both your employer and your audience rely on you to do your job. Time and space are the biggest constraints to journalism. Every second is precious in journalism. The new information and communication technologies have reduced the time that required bringing an event to the reader. Instant messaging and live tweeting is the order of the day. Hence, journalists should work on velocity factor. When you are in a hurry, you are bound to commit mistakes. Since journalism is a race against time, we need to master the art of being accurate while working with a great speed. Journalists need to deal things with a mountain of confidence because there are many forces that would discount your information. A story that showed a local politician in poor light would make your life miserable. The supporters of the MLA, your professional rivals and the enemies at your office independently and jointly launch an attack against you. The onslaught can create self-doubt many times. It leads to mental agony many a time. Your story on a corrupt practice may attract the ire of local musclemen. They may waylay you to teach you a lesson. Be ready and be brave to face it. According to the barometer run by a professional organization called Reporters Without Borders, as many as 49 journalists were brutally killed in various countries in 2020. Notwithstanding the pulls and pressures, journalists need to be bold and confident. Nobody can cow you down if you write your story based on proper facts. At desk level, you are supposed to deal with bundles of copies within a limited time. You should meet the deadline with an error-free copy. That is how this industry works. And sincere journalists drive fun out of this pressure cooker kind of environment. If you are a paper pen type of a person, you are not fit to be a journalist. No one is there to type your manuscript in newsrooms. In tune with the information technology revolution, cross-media ownership has become a norm. All major media houses own a newspaper, a television channel, a radio station, a website and a YouTube channel. Journalists are supposed to be technologically fit to meet the demands of the media houses. If you confine to one medium, there are no takers in the industry. Though you are a newspaper reporter, you are asked to tweet the latest happenings followed by a video clip. That is why be a tech savvy person and keep abreast of latest ICTs. The profile of a journalist has drastically changed over times. In the olden days, a journalist is the one who wakes up at 11 o'clock and hits the roads afternoon to work till the midnight. Now, reporters should be always on their toes. The distinction between reporter and sub-editor is also disappearing. A journalist is a news gatherer, a writer, a photographer, a videographer, an anchor and an analyst, thanks to the various platforms being run by media houses. Journalism students should take their courses seriously and learn every bit of everything to shine in this profession. Journalists were jocks of all trades and master of none was an old saying. Journalists should be a jock of all trades and master of all is the new norm. Journalism profession is not meant for sensitive people. Editors may yell at you for various reasons. You need to take the mud though you are not at fault. Efforts are made to belittle your work or demean your great effort. In a high pressure environment, you may clash with co-workers under similar stress. Readers at one time or the other will call you nasty names. You might even receive threats because of stories you write. Subsequent health issues and financial challenges will let you down. So, dear student, we all should learn a bit of Vedanta to carry on in the profession without carrying any weight. Be warned that thick skin doesn't mean ignoring important things. We should take things in right spirit and with sportive spirit. journalists should be optimistic. Heads will not roll down the day you publish a story. Heavens will not fall down the minute you expose a scam. Systems would go slow and law would take its own course. You shouldn't take this to heat and lose hope. Always be optimistic. Truth will prevail sooner or later. Journalists should not turn to pessimists because of the delay in taking action against black sheep you exposed. Do remember that these negative characters are all powerful and they go all out to prove them as innocents. We may lose in the game, but it's okay. I added this specific quality following the devastation created by COVID-19 on media industry. A good number of journalists lost their jobs because of the lockdowns and stigmas developed in the society. Scores of senior journalists were ousted by managements to avoid expenses. That is why every journalist should be always ready to deal with the unpleasant situation. A journalist may be a mega hit on YouTube or other social media platforms. Be ready to grab every opportunity to showcase your talent. Always look for opportunities to shine with innovative approaches. We have discussed 10 key qualities of a reporter so far. Now we are going to deal with 3 basic elements that help you in journalism profession. They are fairness, attribution and balance, or FAB. They are considered to be the 3 important elements in journalism. Journalists should be fair enough towards their sources and readers. Ethical journalism demands attribution of information to your real sources. Intentionally accommodating the versions of all sides in your story is called balance. The Press Council of India, PCI, has dealt accuracy and fairness under one headline. PCI calls upon the press to issue publication of inaccurate, baseless, graceless, misleading or distorted material. All sides of the core issues or subject should be reported. Unjustified rumors and surmises should not be set forth as facts, affecting the credibility of financial institutions having public interface, PCI says. It also says that whenever any news is published on the basis of an FIR and is critical of the reputation of any person or body, the newspaper or journal must clearly state in the same news report that the report was only on the basis of the FIR and that veracity of the version of the FIR has got to be decided by the court. The newspaper should also publish the version of the affected party to ensure fairness and balance. Another important suggestion given by the Press Council of India is related to quotations. The newspaper should not misconstrue or misquote the statements given by leader. The statements quoted in editorial should project the true spirit of what is being tried to be conveyed by them. Similarly, according to the PCI, articles which analyze and interpret the history on the basis of contemporaneous events cannot be said to be unethical. To know more about fairness and accuracy, students are suggested to visit PCI website. Now let us discuss about another key element in journalism, that is attribution. To establish as a reliable journalist, we need to pay a lot of attention on attribution. Journalists attribute so that the reader or listener can know who is speaking or where the information in the story is coming from. Placing the information between quotes is a common way of attribution. The same information may be converted into indirect speech to make your reader to understand the source of information. Journalists should be extra cautious while dealing with a multi-source story. During the switchover to a news source, his or her name and designation should be given. At the same time, a story with full of attribution will take away the interest of the reader or listener or viewer. Budding journalists may face a problem in attributing reported speech. The phrase according to would be used for such quotes, but overuse of it irritates readers. News manual suggests journalists to avoid the word claimed, which suggests that you do not believe what is being said. In some cases, our sources may not want to be named for fear of revenge. Journalists who are sure of their facts often attribute such information to usually reliable sources, informed sources, or sources within the department or company. Again, overuse of these phrases would take away readers from your story. Some reporters use phrases like it is widely believed that, or it is understood that. It is indeed wise to avoid such phrases to keep up the credibility quotient of your story. We have learnt the qualities of a reporter in this lesson. As they say, journalists are not born, they are made. By adopting the 10 qualities we discussed in this lesson, you can make a name in the field. We also dealt 3 important elements in reporting. They are fairness, attribution and balance. We should always remember these thumb rules.